Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He's a member of the House Transportation and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, your reaction to the fact that these protests, I mean, obviously here in New York and parts of New Jersey, we've seen a little bit of a change in some encampments cleared, but overall across the country, they don't appear to be going anywhere.
Well, first of all, let's understand, protesting has always been a right in America. Peaceful protest, rallying, nothing wrong with that. But what is very wrong here and what is unacceptable here is how it's being done. It's creating chaos. They're encouraging violence, doing harm to people by preventing them from graduating, having their graduation ceremonies, going to classes, etc. We got to follow the money on this. So there's, I think, really important initiatives we can take. We need to go forward with the legislation I'm a sponsor of, among others, that would actually follow the money. If tax dollars are going to these institutions and these institutions are doing nothing about this, that flow of tax dollars has to stop. We need to know who's doing what, where they're coming from, who are really students, how this has been setting up. So again, let's follow the organization. Let's follow what's happening and where this organization is coming from. How many of these students are actually on visas, and if they are on visas, they should be detained, deported, returned to their country of origin. We don't have the time or the money to actually be supporting them in anti-American activities. And again, we need to follow where this is happening, why it's happening, who's organizing, who's conducting this, where the money's coming from, who these supposed students are that are actually involved with this kind of violence. Then we'll know a lot more and how we can really go about stopping it. But it's totally unacceptable. It's not organic. This is actually happening with direction from, I believe, from individuals abroad and within the United States of America to create disruption.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you know, is there any type of federal investigation underway right now out of Washington to get to the bottom of that? Because, you know, here, I'll give you one example. Here in New York, NYPD told us 47% of those that were arrested were not students. So where are they coming from? Shouldn't this be up to the federal government to find out where they're coming from? Our Department of Justice is lacking so much. They're investigating Americans that aren't causing any harm but might have conservative political beliefs, but they aren't investigating this anti-American activity, and it truly is. So that's why we're doing legislation to mandate it and say we want to know how many people involved, where they're coming from, where the dollars that are funding them are coming from. It's way too organized. This isn't just a bunch of students on happenstance coming together and, you know, all of a sudden finding some sort of organization. This is a regimented, organized effort, and it reminds us of what we've seen in the past with Black Lives Matters and Antifa. Some of the individuals may even be the same individuals, but you're absolutely right. We need to know. This is the job of the federal government. We don't stop free speech, but we do stop violence and those that are trying to incentivize hate and hate speech and anti-Semitism and hurting the United States of America. So far, no comment.
They should be doing this, but if they're not, let's do legislation.
I got to throw it out there because so far no comment from the Justice Department at all as to whether or not they're going to pursue this. But there are calls for them to do just that, Congressman. I want to move to what's happening in Washington within the House of Representatives, your House. So Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is expected to bring her motion to oust House Speaker Johnson to the floor this week. Now, he is defending his record. He told Axios he's the most conservative speaker to hold the gavel, also calling the motion to vacate a recipe for chaos. Would you support Marjorie Taylor Greene's move this week to oust House Speaker Johnson?
Look, I was disappointed in some of the legislation that went through as well. I didn't like the appropriations bills. We spent money on things we absolutely shouldn't have, that people would really find issue with. Didn't like the way we're taking care of Ukraine's borders, but we can't take care of our own, and that was supposed to be joined together. Again, I don't support that. I'm not comfortable with it. Was really unhappy with FISA. I worked with my chairman, Jim Jordan, on the Judiciary Committee to make sure that we had a good bill so we could protect America America, but not invade people's personal rights. Didn't like the bill that went through. However, I want to say this on the strongest possible terms. This is not the time. This is not the place. It is counterproductive to vacate the Speaker's position. What we need to do right now is one word, Cheryl, and that's to win. We have to win a more robust and stronger majority in the House of Representatives. We need to win the Senate and make sure we have a majority, and we need to put President Trump in the president's position. When we do all that, then we can really get and accomplish some goals and get things done. Cheryl, we got to learn to see the end game the way that the Democrats do. This is counterproductive. This is going to be a sideshow. This is not what it's about. Once we win all that and we move forward to a real Congress that's going to function well with a robust conservative majority, then we can discuss what we want to do with the Speaker's position. This is not the time. It's not the place.
It seems to me that Marjorie Taylor Greene more and more is isolated. Why is she continuing to push this narrative, do you think, sir? And have you spoken with her?
I don't know.
Knock on her door. Knock on her door and say, what's going on?
I'll tell you who I did. I mean, I've spoken numerous times, and I know that President Trump has spoken with her, and I know that he was again over the weekend. President Trump does not believe we should do this. 99% of our Republican majority believes we should not do this. And Marjorie, I understand how she feels, and I respect some of the things she's done and the courage she's had, but she's wrong on this one. This is the wrong thing to do, and if she's not careful, it can create chaos in the House, and we cannot gain the majority that we normally would. This is ceding power to the Democrats. We shouldn't be doing that right now. We don't need Democrats to save Johnson. We need to come together as a functioning, strong majority, do the right thing, pass good legislation, stand up for American freedoms, and win. Let's learn that word, Cheryl, how to win.
Congressman Jeff Van Drew, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.